Well, hello there and welcome to another spooky video, because you know what? It's still October and I'm still obsessed with Halloween, which means that I'm making spooky videos all month. So today we're going to talk about something that I love very much and that's very spooky, which is coffins.
Ew, go shave your face.
Right now?
Yeah, no, you look awful. Go shave your face like right now.
Okay, cool. Better?
No.
Sorry?
I said you look great.
It's not what I heard, but thank you. So today we're going to be talking about something that I really find interesting, which is coffins. I've always thought coffins were really interesting since I was a little kid. I was kind of a strange and morbid kid, and now it's 20-something years later and literally nothing's changed. Look, I've got a coffin here in my own apartment, and it's got Batman in it. So yeah, I love spooky stuff, always have, always will. So first of all, what are coffins? You probably already know, but in case you don't, coffins are basically fancy boxes that we put our deceased into before we put them in the ground. And generally they run about $500 to $2,000. And in terms of coffins, there are countless options to go with for every type of person. Techies, skaters, nerds, alcoholics, people who like cupcakes too much. But today we're talking about a very particular type of coffin, and that is the 8 most expensive coffins ever made in the whole world. So let's get started. Okay, so our first one isn't too insanely priced, but it's certainly not your average coffin. And that is because it was built for a man named Robert Wadlow, who was the tallest recorded man in human history.
Every time young Robert goes through a doorway, he scores a duck.
Robert Wadlow was 1 inch shy of being 9 feet tall, and at the time of his death in 1940, he weighed 439 pounds. Also, his shoe size was 37. Do you understand? I'm 6'4" and my shoe size is 12. This guy would have dwarfed me. But anyways, Robert's 10'8", 855 pound steel casket, which was constructed by the Grand Traverse Casket Company, would have cost around $4,500 to $5,000 to construct. And that's pretty damn pricey, but we are just getting started. So next up on our list is a very famous casket, which is called the Promethean casket, and it's built by the Batesville Casket Company. The legend has it that in 2007, when Michael Jackson attended the funeral of James Brown, he saw this beautiful casket, and he instantly purchased it for himself. But unfortunately, Michael didn't realize that he'd be needing that same casket just 2 years later when he himself passed away in 2009. So both James Brown and Michael Jackson have been buried in this beautiful golden casket, which has been referred to as the golden send-off in the bereavement industry. So if you want to be buried like the King of Pop or the King of Soul, you're gonna have to shell out $25,000 for this pure bronze, 24 karat gold-plated casket, the Promethean. The next coffin on our list is way less flashy than the Promethean, but it's no less beautiful. This coffin here is made of pure mahogany, it's lined with velvet, it's got an adjustable headrest, which I don't know why you'd need that, but it's got the works. So this mahogany casket is actually built here in the United States, but it's sold by a company called Show Memorial, which is a beautiful high-end cemetery located in Kuala Lumpur. I think this coffin's beautiful, but I'm very envious of it because it looks way more comfortable than my actual bed, which doesn't make any sense. But all the same, if you want to be buried in this mahogany coffin, it's gonna cost you $36,000, so good luck with that. Okay, the next coffin on our list has an insane story because it's owned by the one and only legendary Hungarian actress Zsa Zsa Gabor.
We have no valuables to check.
And if we disrobed, we'd reveal our secret true identities.
That's too bad.
Unfortunately, Zsa Zsa suffered from some really serious blood clots in 2011, and the well-intentioned people at the Golden Casket Company sent her this incredible 24 karat velvet lined casket. Attached, there was a note that said, "We believe that Zsa Zsa would want to be remembered as she always was in life." Beautiful, elegant, uncompromising, and completely original. But unfortunately, this turned out to be really embarrassing for the Golden Casket Company because Zsa Zsa is still alive. As well-intentioned as this was, they sent a woman in the hospital a casket with a memorial note, which is literally like the opposite of a get well card. But on a bright note, it's a $40,000 blunder, and to this day, Zsa Zsa owns that beautiful gold casket, and I'm sure she'll be buried in it. So good for you, Zsa Zsa, you got a free $40,000 gold casket.
Exactly.
Alright, the next one on our list is going to go really quickly because unfortunately there's not much to say about it because I couldn't find that much information about it. The only thing that I know is it was showcased at the Asian Funeral Expo in 2009. And if you want to leave this earth in this gold casket, it's going to cost you $120,000. Our next coffin resides in a place called Nirvana Memorial Park, which is located in Malaysia. And some features of this coffin is that it's 14 karat gold. Sure, common thing, we've seen a lot of gold coffins, right? But it's also ventilated. Probably better than my apartment. A ventilated coffin? I don't know. I don't need a ventilated coffin. I don't need my coffin to be gold. But if you do, this coffin's gonna cost you $217,000. Okay, the next one on our list makes that $217,000 gold coffin look like chump change. And we only know about this particular coffin on our list thanks to a man named Howard Carter in 1922, because that is the person who found the tomb of King Tut, or King Tut. Sorry, I don't know how to say his name. I'm not a historian, I'm a YouTuber. King Tut is what people call him. King Tut's tomb was incredible. It contained 5,398 artifacts, which took Howard 10 years to catalog. There was even a really cool item in there, which was a dagger made of meteorite stone. How'd you get that, Egyptians? But of course, the biggest prize in King Tut's tomb was King Tut himself and what he was buried in. King Tut was buried in 2,500 pounds of solid gold.
I love gold.
That's insane. The estimated value of King Tut's coffin is $13 million. Now we arrive at coffin number one. This coffin is completely insane. This coffin is non-existent.
What is that?
Hear me out. It's not that this coffin is non-existent, it just hasn't been found yet necessarily, but it's up for debate. Let me explain real quick. I'm referring to the tomb of Alexander the Great, which is one of the greatest mysteries ever. And Alexander the Great was a general who never lost a battle, by the way. And get this, he was simultaneously the king of Macedonia, the pharaoh of Egypt, king of Persia, and the king of Asia. I can't even wake up before 11 a.m. Can you imagine? The funeral of Alexander the Great, adjusted for inflation, is said to have cost $600 million. You could build a nation with that kind of money. He had a funeral. And I know what you're thinking, how do you spend $600 million on a funeral? Here's how. Because Alexander the Great's body was put into a golden sarcophagus. That golden sarcophagus was then filled with honey for some reason. Then that golden sarcophagus was put into a pure gold coffin. And then that coffin was put on a custom built pure gold carriage that carried him to his golden tomb. And of course, we know that all this decadence and that this tomb was real because there were a lot of written accounts of people who had seen this tomb. People like Julius Caesar and a lot of other historical figures. As for where this tomb is now, that's the greatest mystery. They say when Christianity entered Alexandria that maybe the Christians got really radical and tried to demolish every single trace of paganism and Alexander the Great that ever existed in order to establish their religion. So where did all that gold go? Your guess is as good as mine.
I wanna know where to go. Give me the go.
So what's the final cost of the most expensive coffin on our list? Honestly, I don't know. We know that King Tut's coffin was $13 million, right? And that was pretty measly compared to Alexander the Great's whole golden situation. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that this thing, if it were found, would literally be priceless. I can't even register that type of money. It would be priceless. Alright guys, so that's what I got for the 8 top most expensive coffins ever made in the history of our world to the best of my knowledge. I know it's a morbid topic, but we're all gonna die and there's nothing you can do about it. Might as well talk about the cool things we're gonna be buried in. If you did enjoy what we saw here, then you can just do this little thing right here. You can just click on this thing and then you'll subscribe to me and then you can see my videos all the time because I'm here every week, always having a good time, always making some fun stuff. So join me. Do it. But before I go, my favorite thing about having a YouTube channel is that I love talking to you guys in the comments. I read every single comment that I get. And so at the end of every video, I ask you guys a question, you answer it, and then I talk about my favorite answers. And last week, since we're getting close to Halloween, I asked you what the scariest thing that's ever happened to you while you were alone. So the scariest thing that's happened to Anja Sever, presidential debates.
We can't sell beef. It's peanuts.
Anja, it'll be over soon. I cannot wait. Oh, that fragile Capricorn. Once I was alone and the Wi-Fi went out. Fragile, are you okay? How did you come back from that? Jenna Loudon said, Garrett, can I borrow you? I honestly have no idea what that means. And Jenna, no, of course you can't borrow me. Scooby-Doo asked, can I keep you as a pet? No, I'm a human boy, so no. Maddie Davis found this scary. My teacher gave me a back massage. Maddie, I think that's illegal. You should tell someone, Maddie. Lauren asked, how do you say potato? Just like potato. Thank you, Lauren. Dan Gimberg couldn't be bothered because he said, I don't know, go ask someone else. Sorry, Dan, I won't ask. I'm sorry, jeez. Stormy said, I set fire to a picture of Trump and it fought back. Where, was that a Horcrux? I don't understand. And Stormy, if that was a Trump Horcrux, take the rest of them out. Quick. Tori Lapari just kept it simple. A ghost. Alma Evalentine said, I once woke up with a staple in my hand. Like the actual staple was in my actual hand. That's it? You're just gonna leave us hanging there? You know, how'd that get there? Chloe got a little existential and asked, are we ever really alone? Wow, Chloe, I guess I never really thought about it like that. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching this. If you like what you see here, you know what to do. As for this week's question, and this is gonna be an insane one, I hope you enjoy this. I wanna know what your dream coffin would be. What would it look like? Would it incorporate fandom? Would it be a Marvel coffin? Would it be about your favorite musician? Maybe it's no coffin at all. Maybe you wanna be like turned into a tree or something. I think that's a thing that people do. Or maybe you want your ashes incinerated and turned into a diamond, which is also a thing that people do. I wanna know what your dream death situation is. What does your insane coffin look like? You have no cost limit. You can be whatever the hell you want. Insane question, but it's October, so let's have some fun. So tell me what those are below. I can't wait to read your responses, and guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye. My point is that you can make this for Halloween parties. I'm not any sort of painter. I just kind of took my time with it. So there's our edible zombie hand. And you know what? At this point, it's just customary that I should probably try one of the fingers. Ew!
And we got one zombie finger.
Gross!